So our first guest is the daughter of the comedy legend Joan Rivers and a good friend to our show. She's got a new book. It's called The Book of Joan. It's in stores now. Please welcome our friend, Melissa Rivers. I love your skirt. Cute. Good, thank you.
Okay, let's see if I can actually figure out how to sit
Can
in
you
this.
sit in it?
I can.
Do you need a prayer cloth? Is something gonna fly open?
No, nothing's the prayer cloth. No, I put in an extra snap on the slit so it didn't do that.
Yes.
And I never tried sitting until I sat down in the dressing room. I'm like, oh, it's gonna take me a sec.
A second.
Yeah.
Let me give you some shoe cam, because, you know, no, down here on the floor. There you go. Nice, cute. Cute.
Thank you.
So, you know how much
Hi.
we adored your
Yes.
mother.
And she adored you.
She was the most guested guest of our show. She visited us 7 times in all 6 seasons. Your mother believed in this show when it was just a trial, a 6-week sneak peek.
Yes.
You know, we didn't know
Well,
whether
she believed in you.
Well, I do appreciate that.
And you guys had a personal relationship as well.
You know, your mother was quite the businesswoman.
Yes.
And she would say like a lot of tips, and she gave us a lot of jewelry, me and my mother.
Yes, yes, she did.
Every time she'd come, she'd remove her costume jewelry, which I just adore. How is Cooper?
He's doing well. It's taken him a little while, but about a month ago, we had a moment where I saw the fog lift.
Yes.
And it's nice, you know. It's great to have, you know, he's 14.
Yes. Well, but you have each other.
We have each other, but, you know, teenagers are teenagers.
The relationship that your mother had with Cooper.
Amazing.
I remember she was talking about her last visit here. She was talking about how they would go away for a week, like just their vacation.
She would take him away every year for a week,
cute.
and it was called Grandma Week.
Yeah.
And they would say, they would say to me, like, I was allowed to come, but I wasn't allowed to have like an opinion.
Yes.
Or interfere.
Would you ever go?
I would join them for bits and spurts, but they would do these like sort of adventure vacations.
Yes.
They did London and Paris, they did Rome and Venice, they did the national monuments, they did the 13 colonies. One year they did like Mount Rushmore and that whole area.
Wow.
One year they took a rock star bus.
Nice.
Yeah.
She was so much fun. So now Joan was getting a routine procedure and things went wrong, and we've been following it on Hot Topics. And so now you're suing.
Yes.
What can you tell us?
That we're suing.
Yes. Is it for a particular amount? Is it? I mean, because you clearly, it's not like you're suing because you need the money.
Right. No. You know, we live in this sort of weird time where to find out what really happened, you have to sue. Otherwise, no one's going to turn over records and no one's going to do anything. And I want to find out what happened. I need to know what happened. I need answers. So you have no choice but to sue, and then
now, who are you suing? Are you suing the doctors who allegedly took the selfies and the center where Joan was?
It's all spelled out in the lawsuit, which is very, very detailed. Our complaint is very, very detailed. Everyone's named in the complaint, and I'm angry.
Yeah. So it's been since September. How long will the investigation go on?
Oh, God only knows.
Oh, God.
I mean, I'm hoping before Cooper graduates from high school.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only going into 9th grade.
Yes.
But it's such a dichotomy because like Parts TV want like answers right now, but there is a process.
Right.
And you have to sort of just grit your teeth and hang on for the process and realize you cannot make it go any faster.
I just find it incredibly brave and of you. You know, Joan was taken off of life support. Melissa crawled in. I've perused your book. Melissa crawled in bed to comfort her mom. She also, you had things from her night table there. And Judge Judy.
Yeah, when she was in intensive care, my mother was very good friends with Judge Judy.
Yes.
And she loved watching Judy's show. That was like her, she would TiVo it. That was like her thing, was she would watch Judy.
Yeah.
And when she was in intensive care and in the coma and on life support, we thought we need sound that she's going to respond to.
Right.
So we called Judy and I said, do you have any DVDs? What do you have of the show?
Yeah.
And she drove in and dropped off a whole stack of DVDs. So we had Judge Judy playing in the background.
And so,
along with show tunes and other stuff.
So, you know, not that the two incidences are the same, but the outcome being on life support is, and that is Bobby Christina is still on life support. What made you decide to pull the plug? And by the way, back to the way you did it. So,
Thank you.
sweet. She got into bed with her mother, and then they pulled it.
But
and
we had
you were
we had
there.
her in full hair and makeup.
Of course.
I had her in her favorite lounge, kind of caftan-y thing.
Yes.
We brought in all of her sheets and pillows, like her beautiful stuff from home, her
Yes.
night table, you know, everything on the night table. How did I make the decision? I am very lucky, where it's such a hard decision to make.
Yes.
And I know I made the right decision. My mother, in her living will, which if you don't have a living will
Yes.
and you have children,
Yes.
you go home and do one. Because it made the biggest difference for me. Spelled out exactly
She wouldn't have wanted to live.
what her version of quality of life
Gotcha.
was.
Gotcha.
Which was, it wasn't just, it was that her version of a quality of life was to be able to go on stage for an hour
Yes.
and be funny.
Got you. Now.
So I knew I was making the right decision.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Well, you know, fortunately or unfortunately, you had no siblings to argue with as
Right.
the sole child to
Yes.
the dearly departed Edgar and now Joan. By the way, I was also reading in the book. Did I read this? Did I read this correctly? So you're going to scatter ashes next year.
Yes.
And the request from Joan was, don't scatter mine near Edgar.
Yeah, don't mix them.
Yes,
Don't mix the ashes.
Edgar committed suicide back in the 80s, but Joan has never fully forgiven him for that.
No, she's over it, but she never. And she's like, don't you mix our ashes
Yes,
together. That was always
yes.
her thing. So I'll put them near each other, but not together. But that brings us to the dedication of my book.
Read the dedication, then I have to talk fashion, please. Doug, please. Okay, good.
For my mother, whom I think about every day, and for my father, who, as of this past September, is no longer resting in peace.
So funny. All right, let's talk fashion, please.
Yes.
You know, on Hot Topics.
By the way, you're very springy, trendy.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm loving the turquoise.
Thank you.
I'm on a turquoise trend myself.
Thank you. Well, no, right now you're on big choking diamond trends. Okay, you're like the earrings.
They're fake.
Oh, okay.
Are you kidding me?
Well, now that you have $100 million,
Which I do not have, by the way.
Oh.
That was a giant exaggeration. To the point where I read it so many places, I picked up my phone, and I called my business manager, I'm like, do I have $100 million? He's like, no.
Okay.
I'm like, I just thought maybe you forgot to tell me. He's like, no, I didn't tell you. You don't have it.
Then let's talk Fashion Police, which is created by you,
Yes.
starring your mom.
Yes.
Now that mom has passed on, it seems like all the kids are fighting. You know, like she was the mother and
hit the fan.
yes, his hit the fan. Who's going to be on the panel in the fall? I've been suggesting to you through the TV.
We don't know.
Okay.
We just started discussions.
Okay.
Your name has been floated out.
No. Thank
But
you.
it has.
Thank you. You know, I'm busy.
But you're busy.
I'm here in New York. I'm busy.
My joke is always, yeah, she's going to give up her show and come do a show once a week in LA. Good luck, guys.
Plus, our boys are both 14. We
Yeah.
got to keep an eye on them. I can't be flying all around
No.
the country. But here's a suggestion.
Okay.
I think Amber Rose would be good.
I think she would be fantastic.
Now, here's the thing. I know that she's not a fashion girl. Just yesterday on Hot Topics, I was saying I don't like her talking. What I don't like her talking is I don't like her doing ratchet thought talk. If she's got a TV show where she's talking fashion, that's a whole nother thing. She's very likable.
I agree. We've had her on the show before, and she was a tremendous guest.
Also, Kimora Simmons.
We've had Kimora a whole bunch.
She'd be really good.
We love Kimora.
Kimora's fashion, and Kimora gets it.
Yes.
Chloe.
Chloe
would
was
be
one of
good.
the original hosts of the show.
Chloe would be good.
Yeah.
And finally, because you need some color. You know,
Yes.
that's the
You
Kimora.
think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so very white.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lloyd Boston is the most civilized, and he's got a great personality. He's comfortable in his own skin. He speaks well. Just, you know, think about those.
By the way, all of your suggestions are on all of our lists. So you are
Perfect.
dead on with.
Perfect.
You know, I don't know who it's going to be, but right now, it's actually, I mean, for all we know right now, every name under the sun has been thrown onto a list, and we're slowly starting to figure out what would work.
And one more quick question. Will Juliana be back?
As of right now,
Oh.
you know,
Oh.
No, it's not an O. It's,
Yes, it is.
No,
Oh.
well, I also thought we wouldn't be having to recast the show.
Well.
So twice now in less than a year.
Yes.
So I don't count on anything anymore.
Got you.
You know what I mean? I thought, you know.
Well, you have other things to focus on
Yes,
until
but I
the
am
fall.
coming back as the executive producer.
Perfect.
So.
Perfect. All right, Melissa, we've got to go.
Oh.
I know. Thank you so much for being here. It's always nice catching up. I'm glad that you're doing well.
Thank you.
As you can.
Yes.
And the book is called The Book of Joan. It's in stores now. Tonight, Melissa's going to be here in
Yes.
the city at the 92nd Street Y in Manhattan.